Hey guys, and welcome back to the United Star. A big statement made today, to say the least. If you guys can comment me at the comments, but I'm still gonna say it. The biggest game of football that there is, in English football, has been called off in Manchester United versus Liverpool. Obviously, there are both sides to the table. There are people who are going to come out and say that the fans threw mics, the fans threw this, and we'll discuss the pros and cons of today's event and how it's been perceived by the media and by the fans. But Sid, according to me, big statement towards the Glazers, big statement towards anyone out there who's trying to do this to a big football club. Before we break down the club statements, what people had to say, what this match holds in context of things, what are your thoughts on what's happened today and what's gone down?
I mean, I've got to sue you, man. You're stealing all my lines now. Yeah, I agree with you. This is not just a statement against the Glazers. This is a statement out to all those greedy businessmen or whoever it is in the world who think that they can take over football and change it for their greed, their wallets, and all. They did not, and they never did understand the power of the fans. And twice in 2 weeks they have underestimated how far the fans can go for the love of their football clubs, which these guys, if I would add, are tearing it apart. They talk about fans vandalizing the stadium. I think these guys have vandalized they've tarnished the name of the club in the last 16 years, ever since they've taken over. So I think this is, of course, we couldn't get a win on the pitch because the game wasn't played, but this is one of our biggest victories in the last 16 years against the Glazers. This is our biggest ever victory off the
So
pitch.
that's why when the game got postponed, I had mixed feelings because I'm not going to be able to see my team play this weekend, and that's horrible because who wouldn't want to see us play, especially with the way we're playing. And that also to one of the biggest rivals that we have. We all look forward to this fixture when the fixture list is released. But at the same time, as you mentioned, the statement's been made. And before we move ahead, let's look at what the likes of the club are saying. So
Sorry,
the
so I
club,
just want to add something. There are reports coming out that four United players, I think it's Scott McTominay, Bruno Fernandes, Harry Maguire, and not Vidic, sorry, Matic. All four of them want to have a conversation with the fans protesting outside. All in for
yep,
it, man.
yep,
I'm
yep.
all
And
in
we'll
for
get
that.
into that. I think there's a lot to be spoken about. There's a
Yeah.
lot to cover. And let's just first go into what the club statement is, where I'm just going to look at a small portion of it. They say following a discussion between the police, the Premier League club, and blah blah blah, our game against Liverpool has been postponed for security reasons. Again, I don't like the way that they have used the term security reasons because I don't think we were vandalizing or trying to cause any harm. But that's all right. They go ahead and say our fans are passionate about Manchester United. We completely acknowledge the right to free expression, peaceful protest. However, we regret the disruption to the teams and actions which put other fans, staff, and police in danger.
Mhm.
So, as you can see, that it's a mixed bag.
Mhm.
It's not like they're blaming the fans. They're still saying that peaceful protests are good, but at the same time, they're saying they're against violence, and all peaceful protests were against violence and harm. So, what's your take on how the protest was organized? Whether it was a good way of, like, personally, I believe it was a good way. They entered into the stadium that is, trespassing at the end of the day, but they did not have the intention of sitting there and ensuring that the game does not go on. That was one of the primary objectives that those fans were trying to achieve. But at the same time, they made their point and they went out. It was a matter of 20 minutes or 30 minutes that they were inside the facility, similar to what happened in Carrington when those 10 to 15 fans managed to get in. They spoke to the manager and the player, and they left. So it was pretty peaceful. Yes, there were a few mics thrown around, but what's your take on how things were organized and how us as fans protested?
Look, I just want to point this out. They all say that the club belongs to the fans and all, and when the fans, you know, um, enter the club premises, they term it as trespassing. I think that is very hypocritical of them. Um, that's the first thing I wanted to point out. But I think this was a very good protest because it was organized, and we all know it was being planned for over a week. And more protests like this, or more steps to get the message out like this, will be highly appreciated, not just by us United fans, but the entire football community. I just want to give a huge shout out to DT from AFTV. I just heard his clip when he spoke on the Arsenal fan cam versus Newcastle, and I think he was spot on in everything he said. And even Roy Keane, Gary Neville, everyone who said, and I completely agree with them, the fans have had enough. And if this was the way of saying it, yes, and of course, I saw clips of people beating the stewards up and throwing the equipment, which I am absolutely against. That should not have happened. But generally, how this protest was conducted in a peaceful manner, I think that was very, very, very commendable by the people who've organized and all those fans who attended the protest.
Yeah, and said at the end of the day, if you're going to have around 3,000 to 4,000 people at a protest, there are going to be a few hooligans. You cannot
Of course.
expect everyone to be, peaceful and follow the protocol that has been requested by whoever is organizing it or whoever is leading that movement. But again, getting to a second part of things that you spoke about in between, where the
Hmm.
players wanted to come out of Lowry and talk to the fans that are furious out there. And before that tweet, it also went out and said that the players wanted to come out and talk or allow those fans to come in, a few set of them, or they go out so that they can talk. And the club said no, and the players were left absolutely furious. I can understand from a club perspective. They want to take the COVID precautions. They don't want the players to be socializing with a group of individuals that have, either they haven't tested, or you just don't want to take that risk, especially with the way this is, and we're close to a final and so on and so forth. But it shows that the players are equally invested in talking to the fans, and that's a great step forward. It shows that a team is being built, and we would love to hear your thoughts on that as well.
Yeah, I completely agree. And the club, again, I want to point out the hypocrisy of the club when they said that we want to have better communications with the fans, and when the players are asking for it, okay, yes, COVID precautions, that's why you should not go, but arrange something else, right? You probably have a Zoom call with the fans and the players where they can have the dialogue, right? But none of that. We are just talking about, oh, the club is saying don't talk to the fans and all. Then what was the point of you saying that you want to have better communications with the fans? I think that is, again, that is beyond hypocrisy now. Like last this when did this apology come out? When did the statement come out? Was it last week? Like within 1 week, within a whole week, they have done the exact opposite of what they said they will do. I mean, like, I don't even know what to say.
I mean, I get it. I understand their perspective of not making the fans and players talk at the moment.
Hmm.
Obviously, they cannot set up a Zoom call with 1,000 fans outside,
No,
but
I'm
they
not
can
saying the
definitely.
1,000 ones. I'm saying the ones who've orchestrated the
Yes,
protest, the
yes,
leaders of
definitely.
those. This thing.
Definitely. There's no saying no to that. If the players want to talk to the fans, there are multiple ways the players can do it as well. They can go live right now on their Instagram. I know right now they have the full English boycott social media for racism kind of thing. Once that gets done, go live, let the fans talk to you, answer what the fans want to do, and then that's another way of communication that the players can choose if they want. So there are multiple options out there. It depends how the players react to it. And today I'm very proud as a supporter with the way the players have come out and said they want to talk, with the way the fans have reacted, with the way ex-players have reacted, the likes of Roy Keane, Gary Neville, Paul Scholes, always out there to criticize the fans, or
Even
always
Jamie
out there to
Carragher.
criticize how we play. Yeah, even Jamie Carragher, hated. pundit for us because he's obviously a scouser. But coming out and making those statements and supporting the fans, which is a great sight to see. And obviously, there are a bunch of assholes as well. When we look at the likes of NBC Sports, Graham Souness, he probably blames Pogba
Paul
for
Pogba.
this full thing. Paul Pogba may have orchestrated this full thing to get a bigger contract deal or something, according to him. I don't know what's he on, uh, but it's a statement that's been made, and I'm also hearing that they're trying to shift the game to tomorrow. Am I a fan of that? Not really. I see this being played at the end of the season. Maybe add 3 more days and then play the game. It'll be very irrelevant at that point. But yeah, well, what are your last words about this full thing? Do you see this continuing for each and every game that we are now going to play at home, or how would you like to move forward with this anti-Glazers? Because we've had 2 weeks of protests.
Mhm.
What next? Is the question.
Again, I've said this to many people multiple times. We've shot with some people. I've told this to them also. This is just not a battle. This is a full-fledged war. This was just a battle which we won. Now, if we are consistent with this, if we figure out new techniques to, hurt the Glazers where it hurts them the most, okay, then we will win the war. But if you just go to the protest today and then you're like, huh, okay, you know what, the Glazers will sell the club tomorrow. We've already lost the war. We won the battle, but we've lost the war. Now, of course, the club knows, the police know how um, devastating this whole protest can be. So what I would say, and what many people are saying, you've said it, and Prasham has said it, Priyan has said it, Rishi has said it. Um, Start boycotting. Glazers main source of income is all the shirt sales and all the PR things they get, right? Stop buying the shirts. One season, just stop buying the shirts. Hurt them where it hurts the most. Have a proper boycott, right? Things like that. I think that will help, because again, this is not a battle, this is a war. We need to win this war, not just one battle.
I think you've said it right. I when it comes to not buying their jerseys or not buying season tickets, I think it's hard for any United fan to do so. It's not going to be easy, and that's definitely one way of going about it, hitting it where it hurts the most. But what I would say, it's time to shift our focus from the players and the manager
To
to
the
the reason
owners.
why the club is going down. It isn't the players that are now not putting their best foot forward. It isn't the manager that is not putting his best foot forward. We're seeing progress. We're seeing everything. And the only thing the Glazers can do worse than what they are right now is not back the manager in the summer. And that is obviously another video in itself. But if that doesn't happen, I definitely see the fans do what you're saying, Sid. I can definitely see them going through the boycott route, going through, any steps that are needed. I wouldn't be surprised to even see Old Trafford empty for a home game, if that is needed, and just have the away fans. It would not surprise me. Would that hurt the players and the manager? Definitely, yes, that would hurt their sentiments. But sometimes you got to burn a few bridges to create a new one. But guys, that's about it. You've heard what Sid had to say. You've heard what we've had to say. The game's been called off, or in better terms, the fans have
We
seen
won.
another nil-nil draw. But we've not allowed City to win the title this week. we've pushed it, we've pushed it by another week, and they can win it on their merit if they beat Chelsea. That
Yeah.
that's completely fine. But big win for football, big win for Manchester United, big draw against Liverpool. 2 points dropped, I would say. Uh, but that's about it, guys. You've heard it from us. If you were part of the protests, let us know. If you know anyone who is part of it, let us know what their experience was in the comments below. Until then, Glazers out.